Today, our fight for survival begins.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Extinction Master Sentinel video walkthrough. This is the 34th mission of the game. It's called the finale. It is the final level of the game, and it's one of the hardest. We have to defend against the Revenai, and we have to do a bunch of really tedious side missions that are actually quite awkward. So the first of these is to save civilians. And the quicker you save the civilians, the sooner the objective will update and have you doing the next piece in the puzzle. But the thing to bear in mind here is you have to kill 25 jackals on a level where 25 jackals don't always spawn. So the strategy that I came across was to go for these garrisons really quickly, these like little enclosed castles, because above would always have vultures and below would always have a crystal with a large amount of civilians to rescue. And then over here, where I'm facing directly in front of me, is the area where the first of the giants is going to spawn. And you can kill him really quickly before he breaks anything. And if you do that, you give yourself a nice opportunity to go kill more of the vultures, kill more of the jackals, and save more of the civilians. This mission is only difficult because it wants you to do a bunch of tertiary things on a pretty strict timer. So not only do you have to kill, I think it's 4 or 5 of the Revenai, but you have to kill 25 vultures, and you have to get two sets of civilians. And each of these things is happening while the enemies are breaking your city. And if your extinction meter goes below 50%, which is very easy to do so, you will lose. And that's where this becomes difficult. Understanding that you have to do each of these specific objectives and achieving them at a comparable time is tough to do. And it's tough because of the randomness of the game. Do the jackals spawn when you go near them? Do they not? Do the enemy Revenai wreck everything and fail you immediately? Or do they wander off and pick their assholes like morons? It's not up to you. It's up to the game. And that's where the game really falls apart for me. Additionally, this is the final mission and there's no final boss. The game has almost no antagonist. There is no main threat. There is no intelligent Revenai who's leading it. There's no leadership at all. There's just giant homunculi threat of huge things, and I just got sat on by a giant. So there you go. A nice death in the final video, always good. And it spawns you back where you started, which can be a nightmare, but luckily enough for us, he's sat over there on his ass waiting for his leg to come back, Namek style. But this guy has wood armor, and wood armor is the weakest and easiest to kill. He's also red, which means he has a proclivity towards wanting to kill me. Although it's not always evidence that they do that, so you need to be careful. So now that he's dead, you'll notice we have to kill 5 Revenai for the objective, but for the main objective we have to kill 2, because after we kill 2, we have to rescue more civilians. And then when you rescue those civilians, it wants you to kill even more Revenai. And something you need to be aware of here, guys, is you do not stack these objectives. If you kill 10 Revenai, then get the civilians, and it asks, and the objective updates, it doesn't immediately say, oh, you've killed 10, so the 2 that you have to kill on this next objective are already done, end of level. No, you can kill as many as you want. If you do not trigger that next objective that says kill 2 more of these fellas, you will not finish the mission. And once again, that's what the balancing is all about of this particular encounter. You need to focus on getting rid of the Revenai when they turn up, get that civilians ticked off, kill the 2 to get those ticked off, and then when the last civilian encounter's there, make sure you do it immediately. Because the longer you leave that, the more Revenai you kill and don't get credit for. And of course, you'll still tick off the 5 that you need to kill, so make sure you definitely kill 5, but you will not tick off the 2 that you need to end the mission once you've done everything else. And this is a long mission, guys. This is a 10-minute long mission, and at any point, you can get yourself into a state where something loses, the city takes too much damage. You know, you can even get really unlucky and have it so that the civilians get killed and there aren't enough civilians to extract, which is a really bullshit reason to lose, but it happens. So I can't stress highly enough of the balance of suppressing the giants and getting those objectives done. And if you're afraid that by rescuing the civilians it's going to end the mission and you haven't done all the other objectives, don't. The objective that ends this is kill 2 after this you've saved the civs. Kill 2 more of the giants. And if you can bump into jackals like I'm doing right now, this is a godsend. This is why I was able to do this, because there were so many of the jackals over on these cliffs, and the jackals are the easiest, the vultures. The vultures are the easiest jackals to kill, and you definitely want to focus on that. But once again, when you focus on doing any one of those side missions, you're not stopping these big knobheads from wrecking the cities, and that's where everything becomes like a micromanaging nightmare. So this level is very difficult. I found it very challenging. But it's the final mission, so it should be challenging, right? And when it goes your way, once you figure out, you know, where to get the vultures, once you figure out kind of the pacing that's needed, and once you get, you know, pretty decent at getting rid of the dudes and then focusing on the other objectives, it's not as bad. But it took about 4 attempts to get this run that you're watching. And I know that doesn't sound like much, does it? And it isn't much in the grand scheme of things, as he doesn't climb the rock face because, of course, there wasn't a piece of wood on it. Really stupid. But in the grand scheme of Extinction, there was no other level that took me 4 attempts. So it's hard in the grand scheme of the game. And I'm hoping you have no problem with this mission, because I think it's the hardest one. I think the last one has the biggest opportunity to be difficult if you get a bad place, or a bad objective, or a bad set of giants with really douchey armor and really aggressive. I think that level has the capacity to be the worst in the game, but this one for me was the one that took the longest to record. Note as well, we came over to the roofs to save some civilians, and the vultures popped up. That is exactly what we want. The more vultures that pop up, the more we tick off that 25 trivial jackals. And trust me guys, 25 jackals is a pain in the knob. And then we get Jackal's Worst Nightmare, which is an achievement for killing 1,000 jackals, and judging by that statistic, I am the first person on the Xbox One to get that, because nobody else has this game. But there's a jackal countering me. There's a quick whip to get up on him. There's a quick kill on him. We need 3 more. No more Revenai have turned up just yet. There is a red dot on my map, but it's this fella just here. So 3 hits on him, and it will power my sword up, and it will kill him. And we only need 2 more, and we can focus on the civilians then. So we need 5 more civilians, and we need 2 more. So here comes the big guy anyhow. Can we tick it off? Hopefully. Should only take, 2 to kill him. There it is. 2 kills on him, 2 hits on him, 2 hits on him, and the jackal objective is done. So now, I should save those civilians, but I didn't, because I'm too paranoid about Mr. Bone Crown over here. This is kind of the game's idea of the most technical giant in the game, because his helmet is an extension of the idea of the padlock. But instead of, you know, just diving in front and smashing it, you have to wait for him to attack like that, and then it becomes vulnerable to be broken. So stand on his back, wait for him to do the slap, and then the moment he does, this will not count, by the way. It should count, but it oftentimes doesn't. And because he doesn't have a belt to hook onto, it makes it very difficult to get back on him when he does that. So instead I'm going to try and climb his legs and then climb his back, because climbing his back is something that the game is quite generous to the player for. But now, this is your opportunity. Dive over him, smash... Oh, it didn't... Look at this, I was too soon. Oh, it counted, it bloody counted. That was lucky. That was so lucky right then. I nearly messed that up. So don't be quite as eager as I was, but still be eager, because you need to be. And then once he's in this mode, we can cut his head off, and boom, he's down. And then over there, there's a gold guy, so I recommend taking his leg, knocking him over, and then going and rescuing the civilians. And that way, on the next objective, when you kill him, he'll count towards the 2 giants that you need to fell. But because I thought the mission ended when I saved the civilians, I'm going to kill him. Bad idea. I do like this guy though, he looks great with his beard and everything and his earrings. It's like a punk rocker, giant orc man. But I noticed that a lot of criticisms for this game when there was showed footage for it at E3 and everything was saying that it looked super, you know, generic, and it looked like exactly what it is. You know, huge giants taken directly from something like, you know, the Jack and the Beanstalk, right? The idea of giant orcish looking dudes with demon eyes with very simple colour schemes is a very... It's the type of visual design that we've seen hundreds, if not millions, of examples of in popular culture, because it's just the huge green giant, right? We even have the dude on the tin of peas who's called Green Giant, you know, and he's a form of this, if not quite so ugly. with a little bit more modesty. But there you go. I do the 5 Ravenni, and now I'm going to go for the civilians, even though I should have done it reversed, but I'm too stupid to know that. So learn from my mistakes, and then hopefully you'll bump into a ton of people like I do. This is a 2-3 extractions, so that's an extra 6 civilians, and then you'll notice the objective updates to kill 2 of the giants. If I'd have done that first, I would only have to kill 1 now, and all I've done is made it harder for me. But the only way I fail now, and the only way you fail if you're in the same predicament that I'm in, is if the town goes to 50% or less. As long as you can keep it above 50%, you will win. And as long as you kill 2 of these, you've done the final mission, and you will become a Master Sentinel. And you'll get your, like, 30G achievement, or 50G achievement, or whatever it is. Or trophy, if you're that way inclined, you know? You'll get your little reward. And, I get flattened by the hand, which is always weird. Can we get it? There we go. Boom! Even got a nice little vulture waiting for us. I go for the kill strike, and there it is. And did you see that? The guy in front of us, he's purple, so he's cobbled together his armour, and he's cobbled together a bunch of... he's got wood on his arm, gold on his shoulders, and padlock on his head. Everything else is unbreakable, which means if this guy has a belt, it's going to let us climb him really quickly, and it's going to let us break all the easy pieces. So once again, he has a belt. That tells me that he is a friendly giant who wants me to kill him. That's bad detection just then. I don't know why the game did that. But it didn't hinder us, luckily. And then from here, we can hopefully build the sword up by hitting his armour, hitting his pauldrons. And then once the padlock goes down, I'm hoping we'll have enough once it's finished fighting me. Stupid fucking climbing. Good news is, even if I fall down, and even if I get screwed by the auto-climb, because he has that on his belt, it's easy to get back on him. So I can't be too pissed off, even though, believe you me guys, when this is happening and I'm playing this game, I am getting very, very angry by the game not doing what I want it to do. It was one of the worst aspects of my first playthrough, actually, just how much the controls were pissing me off. And I've tried my best in this to not mention that, because I don't want to put it in your mind, so when you play, you just assume that nothing works correctly and things fight you and things get awkward. I didn't want to be that guy, because I think it's unfair. It's unfair to give people your own personal experiences when they haven't had theirs. So there goes the helmet. Don't quite have enough to kill him though, which is really frustrating. Can you imagine if I'd have failed in this instance of not having enough? But luckily I spot a crystal, and boom, it gives me the kill strike. And this looks all planned and coordinated. That was 100% good luck. That's all that was. I noticed it, I saw it, I got it, and there we go. That is the final kill. That is all the objectives, guys. That is every single level in this game completed with maximum amount of stars. And there is your achievement, 50G. I'm the first person to unlock it on Xbox, obtained all possible stars in campaign. Thank you very much for watching. I hope the guide helped, I hope you enjoyed it, and you take care now.